Party people, welcome, welcome. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had an amazing weekend. We're back in action, getting after it today. Did you guys have a good weekend? Let me know. As usual, around here, folks, check the QR code up above. We'll be handing out some free Quai over here on X, thanks to Kipper.money. For those of you who are new around here, Kipper.money is a great way to tip and receive tips over on X. Don't even need to leave a platform. You can send money, get your replies boosted, and no middlemen. So, super cool way to start engaging and start monetizing your content early. Welcome, Michele. How you doing? Glad to see you. We'll get you hooked up with some quiet. Hope you're having a good Monday. Hope your weekend went well. There's a good tweet. There you go, man. Appreciate you swinging by. Today we'll be diving back into our Gentoo desktop, finishing out the complete desktop experience. We're going to get some apps installed, tweak the XFCE desktop environment a little further, just so we have a great experience and we can navigate it quickly. Maybe we'll even theme it a little bit. Who knows? We'll see. But definitely need to get some additional apps installed. We got Chrome. I think we installed, a text editor, but, you guys probably use things like Discord or Telegram or, VS Code if you're a builder. Um, if you're manipulating images or editing images, GIMP, the GNU Image Manipulation Project, is a great way to get that done. Um, let's see here. What else can we install? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good default. Most people interact with the internet through their web browser these days. You already got that hooked in there. But you definitely want to get some of the standard chat applications installed. Maybe even, Signal or who knows? Who knows? If you got some ideas, what are some of the other applications you use daily outside of your browser? Let me know. Drop it in the chat or reply to the tweet over on X. Love to see you guys' thoughts. We'll give it a few more minutes here before we dive in. Uh, yeah. Man, we got so much going on over here at Quai Network. It's going to be a big week this week. A lot of updates coming out. I know a ton of folks are super interested in the latest mobile wallet, Blip Pay for Android, already available on iPhones, and all the iPhone users are super happy. But I think the majority of the global market uses Android, so super excited to follow up with a ton of people who have been waiting for that. So many features packed into the new mobile wallet, guys. The whole app wallet concept is really a game changer. Looking forward to demonstrating that to more people who are on Android. The ability to receive money uh, via, you know, credit card, debit card, that's super cool. Let's see here. Tons of stuff going on. You can swap. You can even, integrate with, it's integrated with Zebic, the non-KYC debit card, so you can even spend the money you receive on Blip. So that's super cool. And obviously, private peer-to-peer payments with Qi. So Qi is Quai Network's native energy-based stable that has cache-like privacy properties. So with Blip, you are now able to do private peer-to-peer transactions, which is super cool. Oh man, I just killed this energy drink. New Ghost flavor. I don't know if it's new. The 7 Up man, like Ghost is killing it when it comes to energy drinks. Those things are delicious, and they absolutely work. But anywho, let's dive in, shall we? We gotta get our Gentoo virtual machine here booted up. So we'll start that. Let's go full screen. Beautiful, beautiful. We increased the resolution in the last live stream, so this looks so much better. We got a fully graphical boot now, thanks to Plymouth. In future episodes, we will theme all this to the absolute max, so it should be, even cooler. That's the beauty of Linux and especially Gentoo. It's highly, highly customizable. We got our XFCE desktop environment here. Um, there's one thing that I absolutely have to do first is I have to enable the the quick key for firing up the launcher here. Honestly, like I don't like having to go down here and click this. It's fine for now, I guess, but there should be a way to bind this program, App Launcher, to a hotkey. So that's probably the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm so used to the way I had XFCE configured. Let's see here. What is it? It's App Finder. Yep, that's the application. We want to bind to a hotkey here. So XFCE4 dash App Finder. Let's see here. Where is? Let's just go to. Let's just go to Settings Manager over here. Let's see if we can do session startup, settings editor, mouse and touchpad. Maybe it's just in keyboard. Application shortcuts. There we go. Here we go. So we can launch the mail reader, the terminal emulator. Gosh, I can't talk. Web browser. Shortcut is www. Control Alt T. Orca. Here we go. App Finder. Alt F3. So if I hit Alt F3 here, boom, there's the App Finder. Okay, I want to change that to Super S for search. That's what I want to do. Let's do Super S. There we go. There we go. Ooh, what is collapse? What is Alt F2? Oh, that's even better. That's gorgeous. Well, that's gorgeous. Let's reset to defaults and let's set this one to Super S. Boom. What is App Finder C? What is that? Super R? Oh, interesting. Oh, maybe for command? Super S? Looks just like Super R. Anywho, guys, if you want to bind some applications to hotkeys, that's how you do it. That's how you do it right there. So I can do this, I can do Super S, and I can find, terminal, XFCE4 terminal. Boom, it pops open right there, and we're rocking and rolling. We can even bind terminal. So anyways, what did I do? I went to settings, I went to keyboard. There's application shortcuts in here. One thing I like to do is hold Alt and then hold right click, and you can resize your windows just like that. Just like that. So launch terminal emulator is Control Alt T. Let's bind this to Super T. There we go. So now I can just do Super T. Boom, there's my terminal. I can do Super S, type in Google, fire that. Oh, that did not work. That did not work. What if I do this and just delete this? Oh, yeah, here we go. Opening up my keyring and boom, we're in. All right, we'll size this down a little bit. Shove this in the corner here. Can I snap windows? Can I snap windows? Not by default. That's another thing you can configure over here in XFCE. So again, I just caught myself doing it, but just a reminder, you can hold Alt and then hold right click to resize your windows. You can also hold Alt and hold left click to drag your windows around. You don't have to go all the way up to the top bar here to drag your windows around. You can hold Alt and click on anywhere in the window to do that. So that's super handy, like that. Okay, so we need to get some additional applications installed. Just to double check, do we have Mousepad? Yes. Okay, so Mousepad, great text editor, super handy, saves your state, right? I can close this. I can say don't save, and then I think I can fire up Mousepad again. And no, it doesn't. So, FYI, when it crashes, or let's see if we can get this work. So, if say I do Mousepad here, and I type some stuff in here, I hit enter a few times, and then over here, like I crash the application. Uh-oh. If I fire mousepad back up, it'll say, it seems the previous session did not end normally. Do you want to restore the available data? Yes. So if you have your mousepad open and you're working in it, taking some notes or, saving some of your clipboard or whatever, and you move it to another workspace, for example, like say I want to move this to another workspace, workspace 2. Boom, right? And I'm over here working on workspace 1. I'm like, okay, I'm done, and I shut down the computer. The next time I boot it up, right? If I want to open up mousepad again, I can restore that data. So that's super handy. So that's super cool. I really like that. Another thing we might want to figure out how to do is to like better use these workspaces. So one of the beauties of Linux, especially the desktop environments, is they usually come with a variety of workspaces, right? So I could fire up a terminal here. I could, move to another workspace and fire up mousepad here, right? And I can go to this workspace and I can do Google Chrome. All right, so now I have a variety of workspaces, each with their own applications on them. And XFCE does have some hotkeys to help you navigate your workspaces a whole lot easier, right? So let's see here, application shortcuts. Those are application shortcuts. That's not going to be in keyboard. Maybe if I go to window manager. There we go. So here's some keys, some shortcuts for managing your window manager or navigating your window manager. Like most Windows desktop environments, you can Alt Tab between your windows. Let's see here. If I want to move workspaces. There we go. Move to workspace 1 through 9, right? This is okay. This is okay. What I prefer is like Super 1, Super 2, Super 3, Super 4, um, Super 5, Super 6, Super 7, Super 8, and we'll do this last one here, Super 9. Cool. So now I can go to Workspace 2, Workspace 3, right? What am I doing? Oh, no, I'm sending the application over there. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, I'm moving window to workspace. Oh, I don't want that. Let's reset that to defaults. Yes, okay. That's not what I want. What I want to do, here it is. Here it is. That's not bad. Control F1. So I can do control F1, F2, F3, F4, F5 doesn't exist. Let's go control F2. All right, this is what I want to change. And we can add a workspace with Alt Insert. So this is what I want to change here. Let's do Super 1, Super 2, Super 3, Super 4, Super 5, Super 6, Super 7, Super 8, do Super 9, and yeah, we'll stop there. Let's do Super 0. Why not? Yeah, we can do Super Dash and Super equals. There we go. So now I can Super 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 doesn't exist, right? So I think it was Alt Insert creates a new workspace. No, maybe not. So let's go back here, add workspace, Alt Insert. Oh, I was using Super. For those of you who don't know, Super is just the Windows key. Most US keyboards have a Windows key right in between the left Control and Alt keys. That's what Super is. So I can Alt Insert to add a workspace. You see that pop up top here, and then I can Super 5 to go to it. I can Alt Insert, add another workspace. That's all right. That's super cool, right? So um, this currently is configured to launch with 4 workspaces. Let's see what other options do we have here. Window snapping to screen borders. Distance is small. Let's increase this a little bit. So now, if can I snap? Can I snap? Oh, it's snap. Snap. That's what that is. Wrap workspaces when reaching the screen edge. And I can do this with a dragged window. Let's increase this a little bit. And let's go. Oh, it's not doing it. Oh, it's not doing it. Well, with a dragged window. Wrap workspaces. Hmm. Well, not a big deal. I don't really care about that right now. What I do want to show you guys though is how to set XFCE to open a certain number of workspaces. Here we go. So this should actually stay by default. I believe this actually saves. So I've created, by default we had 4. I created 2 additional ones. But what happens if I log out here and log back in? Will it recreate 6 workspaces? Yeah, it sure does. There's 6 workspaces up there. Okay, we're ready to rock and roll here. We got Google. Goog. We got the Googler. Uh, Open up your keyring. There we go. Okay, so we got Google up here. It's snapping. It's snapping pretty to that workspace. Another thing you might want to do, since really, like, we don't really need this thing anymore. What I'm gonna do is launcher. That's not what I want. Let's go to panel. Panel preferences. Let's lock the panel and how do we automatically hide the panel always. Cool. There. Now the panel's gone. I mouse down there. It comes back up. Boop. Cool. Rock on. Anywho, we need to get some applications installed, yeah? So, anyways, we have Google. We have a text editor called Mousepad. I like these. Those are super handy. So, anyways, like I said, Gentoo XFCE4, that's what we're on right now. Um, what other applications should we install? I already have an idea, but just to kind of demonstrate, additional software we could install. We got Mousepad, themes, several window manager themes. Let's check these out, right? So sudo emerge pv xf window manager 4 themes. What does this bring in? There's also battery plugin, Thunar archive plugin. So Thunar is the default uh, file explorer here on XFCE. It's pretty nice. It's not bad. Okay, so we got some themes we can install here. Let's go ahead and kick that off. That's only 600 kilobytes. Not bad. A mount plugin, one-click mounting of devices listed. Sensor plugins, monitor hardware sensors. Small command line embedded into the panel, quicker than opening up another terminal to run a command. Not bad. Genome's menu editor works fine in XFCE, and a light Quake style terminal emulator. Well, we're using XFCE terminal here. That's not bad. Um, but yeah, let's check out these themes that are installing right now. Cool. So another thing we can do is we can go to the settings manager here. We can search themes. Uh, Here we go. Cool. We got Adept. Whoa. So this is default, just so everybody's aware. Adept, Agua. These are kind of dated themes. Not gonna lie. That's not bad. B6. Ooh, pretty. Basics, BBS. That definitely reminds me of the old bulletin board systems. Anybody here remember PHP, BB, or V bulletin? Huh? Beastie. Oh, you get a little BSD guy there. Blizz, Blackwall, Buzz, Cold Steel. Nice. Nice. Not bad. Cool Clean, Crux. Oh my gosh, there's so many of these. Cruxish, Curve, Deloa, Default 4.0, 4.2, 4.6, 4.8, HDPI, XHDPI, DEFCON 4. Ooh, I kind of like that one. Man, look at all these. There's so many of these. I could spend probably a good amount of time trying to pick a XFCE theme here. There's a KDE one. Ooh, that's old school. Oh man, that's even older. Kindeker, Kleenex, Cocody, Coinacity, Line Art, Linea, Meanie, Metabox. Who remembers Metabox, Fluxbox, Microcurve, Microdeck 2, Micro GUI. Oh, interesting. Mofit. Ops, Opta, Ouroboros, Pearl, Pills, Piranha. There are so many of these things, guys. Platinum, Quiet Purple. Yeah, yeah. I mean, one 600 kilobyte package dropped a lot of themes in here. I'm gonna stick with default for now. It's clean. It matches my GTK theme here. Adwaita Dark, I guess. So that's what we're rolling with. But just so you know, you can install some additional themes from Gentoo, Portage, just like that. Pretty simple, right? Um, what happens when we search Gentoo desktop environment? Here we go. Okay, so this is, yeah, that's not very helpful. Downloads, yeah. Category desktop. Okay. Well, anyways, That's neither here nor there. What I definitely want to demonstrate to you guys is how easy it is to get up and running on the applications that I use day in, day out. Obviously, we got Chrome installed over here. Super easy to use. It's the Google Chrome binary shipped straight from Google, so not private, not one bit. But if that's what you use, that's what you use. If you want to compile your own open source version of Google Chrome, aka Chromium, you can totally do so. That is absolutely an option. Just a heads up, even on some of the latest and greatest hardware, that's going to take a really long time to compile. That is a massive, massive package. So other applications you might want to consider is Firefox, right? Another browser. Totally an option here. EIX Firefox to inspect the Firefox binaries. So you can compile your own, or you can install the binary Firefox bin. Let's go ahead and do that. Why not? Let's get Firefox installed in here. PV Firefox bin. It'll probably pull in some dependencies. Oops, we need the emerge command. Emerge Firefox bin. It'll probably pull in some additional dependencies that Chromium or Google Chrome didn't pull in. Oh yeah, 22 of them. Okay. So we're going to get some things like FFmpeg for parsing video. libogg is an old audio library. Let's see here. eSelect for selecting your MPEG uh, preference. Something just like a lot of audio and video stuff that Firefox is built with that Chrome is not. Um, but they shouldn't be too big of a deal. One thing you notice is we have a warning here. There are use changes necessary to proceed. Basically, Firefox is requiring pulse audio, which is kind of annoying because we don't really want pulse audio. What we really want is pipe wire. Let me think about this for a second. So that's just for also plugins. So it looks like this Firefox binary does not support Pipewire. What happens? So again, this is a binary, so we're not able to compile from source, right? But if you see here, the the actual package that we could compile does support Pipewire. Okay. So what am I talking about here? What I'm talking about is basically the abstraction layer for sound on Linux. Um, for the longest time, it was mostly ALSA, Advanced Linux Sound Architecture, which is what this binary up here is based on. Advanced Linux Sound Architecture plugins. For developers to interact with ALSA, it was still a little, I would say, inefficient. So there was an additional layer built for that called Pulse Audio, right? Long story short, ALSA basically provides applications access to the hardware. But back in the day, your applications could basically compete for access to your sound card, right? So if you were playing, a movie in one application, and then you went to go, use Discord, and Discord sound had like a notification, and it wanted to like try to notify you of something and access the sound card and go ding, that would have been an issue, right? An application, only one application could access a sound card at a time. So um, there were ways around that, but Pulse Audio, was probably the next iteration of sound abstraction on Linux. And then from there, things have gotten even better with a system called Pipewire. So that's probably the best experience, both for like users and developers, is to use Pipewire instead of Pulse Audio or ALSA directly. But as you see here, the binary package for Firefox does not actually uh, support Pipewire. It only supports Pulse Audio, the OG. So we're gonna skip this whole process because, frankly, I'm not going to wait for Firefox to finish compiling. It's pretty much just as big as Google. Maybe we'll do that in the background offline another day so I can show you guys how that works. We already got sound working on Chrome right now without installing Pulse Audio. Copy free music. You guys are probably going to hear an ad. Oh, you guys are not hearing this.
.com/boxy today.
There you go. There you go. So just to demonstrate, audio is working. There you go. There you go. Audio is working on this thing. So again, we're not going to mess with that, but we got some other applications we can install, right? Let's take a look at, I mean, everybody uses Discord these days, right? There we go. There it is. Discord. Let's see what happens when we try to install this. What dependencies it brings in, what configuration changes it might need. Um, we should have called this, right? Uh, we we uh, we need to accept the license. Okay. So again, just a reminder, Gentoo doesn't accept all licenses by default. There's no like one flag to accept like a mass amount of licenses. There are some keywords you can use to accept batches of licenses or licenses categorized variously. But what I like to do is be aware, first of all, of what licenses I'm accepting. But in order to accept a license globally, you can add it uh, to this make.config file, right? So here you can see we've already accepted a few categories signified by at in all caps. We could also add all rights reserved in here, and this should work. This will accept all rights reserved globally across the entire uh, repository here. You can see how that works. Basically, this license thing will that'll disappear. Or you can accept them on a per package basis, right? So if I go back into here and I delete this and I try to install again, we'll get that warning. Yep, not accepted the license. I can license, and I can, what is this? Discord net-im Discord. I can create a file. I like naming them appropriately, and I can say all rights reserved. I think that's the right spelling. Yeah. So per package for Discord, I'm accepting all rights reserved, right? And now, when I try to install this, boom, it's good to go. Okay, so that one's good to go. Another package we might want to install. Let's see here. I had a list. Maybe Telegram, right? You use Telegram. We have Telegram. Again, we have the option to install and compile it ourselves. Excuse me. And it looks like the latest stable, in other words, green version here is 6.5.1. But the binary is actually even later. It's later than that, 6.7.8 at the highest here. So with something like Telegram, mm, I'll probably want to install the latest version. But let's see what happens when I try to install Telegram. Telegram desktop. Cool. So it's saying that I need some additional configuration changes in order to successfully compile and install Telegram desktop. Qt-base will be pulled in, which again is a graphical user interface library. Um, Qt and GTK are the two biggest libraries for graphical interfaces on Linux. FFmpeg is going to require some additional flags and Qt tools, right? They want to use OpenGL, which is okay. That's fine. Don't have any problem there. But just an FYI, Qt-base, it's another larger library. It'll take a while to compile. What happens if I try to install the binary? Ah, okay, so these have been masked, right? So if I go back here, you see these are marked yellow with little tildes in front of them. Basically, they're Gentoo is saying these are not stable packages. They have not been reviewed or lived long enough to be marked stable. So again, by default, it's going to warn you and it's not going to install these packages. What I can do, again, see I'm in Etsy Portage package.license. I could go out and go to package.accept keywords, right? And we already did this for Plymouth in a previous stream, but here what I can do is I can echo net-im telegram desktop bin and then say I accept AMD 64 keywords. It's actually, is that the right? Yeah. Okay, so I can echo this and then I can pipe it to T with escalated privileges into Telegram desktop bin, right? Now I have a new file in here called Telegram desktop bin, and if I cat Telegram desktop bin, that's what's in there, right? So now when I try to install the binary, it should accept it and tell me what additional dependencies it'll bring in. Looks like it brings in OpenGL. I don't need to do any configuration changes here. So um, so that's Discord, that's Telegram. Let's see what do we got. What other desktop tools do I use? Oh my gosh, I'll be honest, guys. I spend most of my time in terminal these days. So if I'm not in Google, I'm probably in Telegram or Discord. Let's get a third chat app in here, shall we? Why not? Let's look for Signal. Everybody likes secure private messaging, right? Signal desktop binary. This is only a binary. For some reason, it doesn't look like they have the source code. Oh, oh, this is Signal over CLI. That's interesting. That's super interesting. Oh, we might have to play with that later. I did not even realize there was a CLI. Let's let's check this out real quick. Copy link address. What does this look like? Signal CLI command line interface for Signal Messenger. Supports registering, verifying, sending, and receiving messages. Wow, you could register? Install usage. Signal CLI account. Register a number with SMS verification. Nice. Does anybody actually use this? want to see a screenshot. Of course, nobody's sharing the screenshot of their Signal chats. Anywho, we might play with that. That's super interesting. I might try that at a later date. But let's go ahead and see what happens when I try to install Signal desktop binary. Whoa, okay, so 19 new packages. Looks like most of these are relatively small. Some sound stuff, some emojis. Oh, that's a big package. No compiling needed for this one. That's just a copy. And it also brings in Pulse Audio because it needs. Yeah, yeah, it's working with also. Okay, all right. Well, this is what I'll do. Let's go up here. Media package. So we're gonna set just for also plugins for applications that need Pulse Audio. That's how they interact with the sound cards here. We're going to echo media plugins, also plugins, Pulse Audio, pipe it to privilege T into also plugins. There. Okay. So now we shouldn't get this use warning. We should be able to install Signal, the binary. Boom. Yeah, that's good to go. Okay, so Signal, Discord, and Telegram desktop binary. Now, this is going to take a minute. 22 new packages. Not bad. Not bad. But that'll get us set up with a bunch of chat applications. You know, you're probably hanging out on Discord, Telegram, Signal. So this will be really handy for everybody long term. Actually, I'm going to do just one more, right? I still, every once in a while, use Visual Studio Code, right? I'm a builder. We write code. Uh, Not really anymore. AI writes code. I'll show you guys how to use AI in a pristine development environment here in the near future. But Visual Studio Code is usually where most developers begin, especially on Linux, MacBooks these days, even Microsoft. If you didn't know, Visual Studio was written by Microsoft, right? You probably knew that. Visual Studio, V++? No, maybe. Does anybody code in Visual anymore? Is that even what you call it? Like, I don't even know. Okay, anyways, let's look for Visual. I think is it Visual Studio? No. Is it? It's probably just VS Code. There it is. Yeah, multi-platform Visual Studio Code from Microsoft. Okay, so what happens when we try to merge uh, VS Code? VS Code. So this is not a binary. This licenses, ladies and gentlemen. You got to accept the license. Those dang end user license agreement. Okay, so for Visual Studio Code, I will accept for app editors, VS Code, I will accept Microsoft VS Code license, pipe it to privilege T, and put it in VS Code. Let's try this again. There it is. Oh, only one dependency there. That's pretty cool. Nice, nice. All right, well let's rock and roll. Okay, so VS Code, Discord, Telegram, desktop, bin, and Signal, desktop, bin. That's 4 desktop applications Probably 23 packages in total. 24. Okay, so 24 packages. Not bad. Not bad for four brand new desktop applications. We'll let this run. I'll go say hi in chat and we'll check back in when it's complete.
drag like a rusted chain, song of life for pocket change. They sell my future while I sleep, loaning ghosts they never keep. You hear that ticking, that's my time they stole. You feel the pressure, that's the paper throne. Quai, cut the chains, burn the ledger in the rain, turn the current into flame, let it roar through our veins. Quai, light the sky, every false god starves and dies, from the wires to the dirt we rise, new blood, new pulse, new life. Glass towers feeding on storms, smiling wolves in tailored forms. They print the cage in shifting sand, build your dead with an open hand. But under concrete something hums, raw and endless on my tongue. You feel it waking in the grids below, a silent uprising in every flow. Why cut the chains, burn the ledger in the rain, turn the current into flame, let it roar through our veins. Why break the lies?
All right, party people. 24 of 24 packages installed. Discord. Install following package for additional support. Pulse Audio for sound support, or Pipewire for sound support. For VS Code, we want libnotify for desktop notifications. For Telegram, we can install Enchant for spell checker support and WebKit GTK for mini app support. For Signal, we can start with start in tray or use tray icon. All right. That's some useful information here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to open a new tab. You notice we have some news items that Portage wants us to read. So I'm going to do a select news read. Boom. So let's see here. The Pipewire sound server has gained a new use flag, sound server, for enabling and disabling its sound server capabilities. This change is needed to avoid Pipewire and Pulse Audio conflicting over control of audio devices. Before this change, OpenRC users were in some cases accidentally migrated to Pipewire, which was difficult to override without manually editing launcher files. For non-audio purposes, Pipewire is installed in many configurations. As more and more software depends on it, screen sharing, sandboxing, window previews, etc. Packages needing Pulse Audio's APIs will be migrated from the now meta package, Pulse Audio, to libpulse. Pulse Audio server can be provided either by Pipewire. Okay, so Pipewire implements the Pulse Audio server, or the original Pulse Audio daemon. The sound server uses use flags for Pipewire, allow easily controlling this behavior. Cool. Place the following entries in portage package.use. Okay, so we probably want to do this because A, we don't want conflicts, and B, we definitely prefer Pipewire over Pulse Audio. So we're going to take a quick look. What happens when I inspect Pipewire here? Pipewire is not installed. And if I check out Pulse Audio, does it have the daemon use flag enabled. Pulse audio QT, pulse audio control, pulse audio. Damon. Do you see Damon in here? I do not even see Damon in there. Well, it might be a good idea to install Pulse Audio. It looks like Pipewire also. Pulse Audio Sound Server. We probably want to install this just to make sure sound is fully functional. So sudo emerge pv Pipewire. What comes in by default here? So Bluetooth is not default. Dbus is not default, which is weird because I believe we have that in the global. FFmpeg, Pipewire ALSA, sound server. Let me check my current system setup just to make sure I know what's working. Definitely want to add dbus. Do we not have dbus by default in here? We don't. We have Pipewire. Dbus, Pipewire, ALSA. Hmm. Okay. Well, we'll save and exit that. Let's also check a few things real quick. Let's double check on my other system here. Portage package I use Pipewire. Yeah. Okay. We definitely want to enable sound server. So let's echo media video Pipewire sound server sudo t Pipewire cat Pipewire. There it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and install this. That'll be helpful long term for all the applications that want to either share screens or use sound. Um, Again, a lot of this stuff comes pre-configured on Gentoo if you use a desktop profile. Just a brief reminder, we are using the base AMD 64 profile. So we'll go ahead and let this install. And then because we added dbus to the global use configuration there, we'll likely want to recompile any application that supports that use flag just so everything's good to go. So we'll let this run and we'll be back when it completes. On to the tunes.
New life. Yeah. They said trust us while they bled us dry. But power never needed any alibi. So plug my heart into the storm. Let every spark rewrite the norm. Decentral fire.
All right. That was pretty easy. Not bad, not bad. Let's check the news. Wire plumber. Introduce significant breaking change. Yada 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 yada. Okay, so more changes here. Sound is not that complicated on Linux. This is really what you're seeing here is a lot of developer updates, right? Systems migrating from one sound abstraction layer to another. Not all packages are making the pivot, but that's the world of open source. So, well, I think there is no, no. Okay, all right, we should be good. A few other things that we definitely want to install. We want notifications, right? When somebody messages us, we want to get a notification so we see that. That and enchant spell checking for Telegram might be handy. You might also interact with some mini apps in Telegram. So we're going to explore installing these two things: lib notify, enchant, and WebKit GTK. Let's see what happens when we try to install these. First of all, you can do it. That's a privilege. Do 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 do. Boom! 73 new packages. Man, WebKit GTK really brings in a ton of stuff here. GST plugins. Yeah, yeah. A lot of tiny apps. Okay. Well, um, yeah, HarfBuzz needs ICU. Okay. And GST plugins needs OpenGL. Okay, well, we might delay that. For now, remember we enabled dbus as a global use variable. So I'm just going to check and see how many packages should be recompiled now that we've enabled dbus across the board here. Okay. All right. Well, a lot of dbus. Looks like we brought in some additional things here. Okay, okay, okay. Not bad. Not bad. We'll go ahead and kick this off. Meanwhile, we're gonna try to use some of our new applications here. So what happens when I fire up Discord? Nice. Discord firing up. It's probably gonna ask me to log in. Here it is. Sure, allow. And I can log in with a QR code. So just to demonstrate that this is fully functional, you guys are going to get to see. I'm going to scan this QR code from my Discord app and log in. And boom, here we are in Discord, hanging out in the Quai server. Super cool. Super cool. So that's Discord. What else did we install? We installed Telegram. Nice. I can scan Telegram here and log into Telegram. Where's the scan button? Maybe I can do this just with my camera. Uh, Devices. Here we go. Boom. And we're logged into Telegram. Rock and roll. All right. We also installed the Signal. I will not pull that one up, but just to demonstrate. See, Signal desktop should fire up here. There it is. And you can install and use Signal from your desktop. You notice some docked icons here allow you to quickly access those. Excuse me. I'm gonna go ahead and quit these. Yeah, yeah. I logged into Telegram, and we will fire up the last one. I think it's code. Can we just run code? There it is. Here's VS Code, ready to rock and roll. So those are the desktop apps. They're kicking butt and taking names. We are recompiling some of our packages with some new use flags here in the background. We will also, let's see here, I think, yeah, we got Pipewire ready to go in the background as well. So everything should be good across the board now for audio, across all these applications, dbus across all these applications. And we have a fully fledged desktop environment. So if I go over to 2 here, let's fire up Discord over here. There it is. And then on workspace 3, I can fire up Telegram. Now, it keeps wanting to open the folder. I don't know why it's doing that. Da, 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 da. Telegram. And we got Telegram up and running over here. And then I can easily switch between all my applications across the board. Now, one other thing you might want to see is how do I set up this taskbar to have like my favorite applications in it, right? One thing you can do is go to the panel. You can add a new item here and you can add a launcher. Okay, looks like I added 2 of them there. And then you can configure the properties of this launcher. And you could probably find Discord in here. There it is. Boom. Add Discord and close that. Close that. So now we got Discord and we can move this around over here on items. I can take Discord and I can bump it up over there if I want. There it is. Close. And instead of this, this icon here, what I can do is I can take this panel item here and I can add Google Chrome. Boom. Add. Close. There it is. Google Chrome. And then I can remove that panel item. And then I can move panel preferences, items, and I can bump Google Chrome up over there. Right, and I could do the same for Telegram if I wanted to. Again, you just go to panel, go to add new items, create a launcher, double click, it drops down there, and then you can select the properties of this launcher and do Telegram. Just like that. Pretty simple, yeah? Go ahead and go to panel, panel preferences, and move this next to Discord. There you go. So now your panel's ready to go with Discord, Telegram, Google Chrome. Let's add a new one. Let's add VS Code. Let's add a launcher. Close. Edit these properties. There it is. Visual Studio Code. Close. Close. Again. Let's go to panel preferences and let's move VS Code over. There it is. Boom, boom, boom. there you go, guys. That's pretty much all the applications. I guess, graphical applications, window applications that I use on a regular basis, and I'm pretty much ready to rock and roll in this desktop and start building things out. So again, hotkeys move around your desktop environments here. We got panel set up over here. Let's check back in on our rebuild. We're at 2 of 22. Okay, I will add one additional thing that you're going to want to set up eventually is a quick way to access your audio here. So let's see here. Can we add a new item? We got status tray. We got a clock. Trash applet. Eventually, what we'll want to do is add an audio applet in here so you can easily control your volume and what have you from the taskbar up there. That'll come after we kind of recompile our system here with this additional support. Um, the Pulse Audio plugin works. It'll interact with the sound cards through Pipewires Pulse Audio implementation. So if you noticed, we actually, where is it? It's not there. I think you can hit Control N. No, Control Shift N. There we go. Control Shift N on terminal here. We'll open up a new terminal. You notice, let's do package.use ls. Yeah, so Pipewire here. We added sound server, but actually on the global configuration, we added uh, Pipewire ALSA, and so that'll help Pipewire integrate with Pulse Audio. So should be good to go. Once this finishes compiling, we'll get this, your ability to interact with your sound cards baked into this toolbar up here. That's always super handy, especially if you have Bluetooth headsets or devices. You can compile Pipewire with Bluetooth support, and then you'll be able to control all that from your taskbar up there. But that's pretty much it for today, folks. We're going to send it off here. We're going to open up a new tab and dive into the matrix. That's just so much fun. I love this. It's kind of lame, kind of corny, but it's actually I think it's fun. So hopefully you guys enjoy the stream. We have a fully set up desktop environment now over here in XFCE with all the desktop applications that I use on a daily basis. If there are any other desktop applications that you guys use, let me know down in chat, down in the comments. We'll probably install those at a later time. But next time we sit down together, we'll continue to build out this desktop environment to be a complete builder's environment, right? You want to actually like build some cool things. That's why you got into Linux. So I'll show you guys how I do that in the next one. We'll also find a really cool background, something not stock here, that we can use to continue to theme our entire graphical boot process and get a really unified, beautiful experience when you're booting into your desktop, into your Gentoo desktop. So, really appreciate you guys for tuning in today. Hope you had a good time, and we'll be back here real soon. So, with that, guys, see y'all in the Matrix. Peace out.